Have you ever considered the generation that grew up completely without any constant adult supervision during their formative childhood years? They were the children who unlocked their own doors after school, making their own afternoon snacks in a very quiet house. We formally call them Latchkey Kids, the generation who literally wore their front door keys on strings around their young necks. This is Gen X, born between 1965 and 1980, often labeled as the truly invisible generation of our time. Do not let their silence fool you. It is a powerful psychological strategy forged from years of complete self-reliance in childhood. Today, we will decode why their extreme independence and natural skepticism are actually a profound and silent source of modern strength. Why is Gen X so independent that they sometimes seem completely detached from the people and world around them today? The answer lies in the latchkey concept, where high divorce rates and working mothers left them alone in empty homes. Psychology defines this important formative experience as forced self-reliance, forcing children to trust themselves before trusting any external organizations. They did not wait for anyone to rescue them from darkness. They fixed their own bikes and solved their own problems. This early independence created a key psychological trait, a natural skepticism and deep distrust of all hierarchical systems and power. Having grown up during unstable values and economic crises, Gen X developed a very keen radar for detecting fake promises. To understand their remarkable resilience, we must look at a long-term study from the University of Michigan on life satisfaction. The research clearly shows that despite their quietness, Gen X has significantly higher emotional resilience than any subsequent generations today. This profound strength comes from their learned ability for emotional self-regulation, developed during their long, quiet, latchkey childhood years. In modern chaos, when other generations may panic and fall into deep anxiety, Gen X typically just gets to work. Their skepticism prevents them from following temporary trends, while their total independence keeps them stable when systems eventually fall apart. Cinema of the 80s and 90s perfectly captured this unique identity. Outsiders with a deeply sarcastic and rebellious spirit online. These cinematic characters were often loners with serious, cool attitudes, yet remained intensely loyal to their few real friends and values. Their chosen silence on social media or in public debates is often misunderstood as total indifference or a lack of care. But it is a deliberate choice. They selectively decide where to spend their precious energy and valuable mental resources today. If you are Gen X, please remember that your silence and independence are a truly precious and lasting legacy for everyone. However, sometimes you should allow yourself to unlock the key and realize you do not have to carry everything alone. For those with Gen X parents or colleagues, please understand that their silence is love and their independence is responsibility. Appreciate this vital bridge generation because they are the quiet forces that keep this modern world running so very stably. Latchkey Kids developed an internal locus of control, believing they had power over their own lives and futures from childhood. This sense of agency allowed them to adapt quickly to the rapidly changing world of technology and global connectivity they witnessed. They are comfortable with ambiguity, having navigated complex family dynamics and social shifts during their very formative years. Their resilience is a quiet force, not a loud proclamation, providing steady leadership in times of deep uncertainty. Gen X has learned that true power comes from within, not from external validation or the approval of others. The latchkey generation reminds us that sometimes the most important lessons are learned in the quiet moments of solitude. Childhood silence was their training ground for modern mindfulness, a space where they learned to observe without being consumed by chaos. Sarcasm allowed Gen X to navigate difficult realities, providing a safe distance between their inner world and external pressures. Their natural skepticism serves as a powerful bullshit detector, preventing them from falling for superficial trends or empty promises. Independence forged in empty homes became a fierce commitment to authenticity, rejecting any need to perform for the crowd. Gen X is comfortable being the quiet operator behind the scenes, ensuring things run smoothly without seeking any public credit. Their silence on social media is not a lack of opinion, but a deliberate refusal to participate in superficial noise. True identity is what you do when no one is watching, a lesson Gen X learned very early in life. Forgiving themselves for not being perfect is the first stage of releasing the heavy burden of their long past. Gen X can bridge the gap between different generations, offering steady guidance and a deeply grounded perspective today. Every time they choose self-care over constant productivity, they reclaim a small piece of the childhood they lost. They spent years being an anchor for others. Now it is time to let themselves drift and be free. Trust that their quiet strength is enough, exactly as they are, without having to prove anything to anyone now. Let go of the need to be the hero and embrace the simple, profound joy of just being a human. The invisible wounds of childhood are real, and they deserve to be seen, heard, and healed with great kindness. Your childhood may have been stolen, but your adulthood belongs entirely to you and your own true, happy choices. Be the parent to yourself that you never had, with all the love, patience, and understanding you truly deserve. True freedom is not having the most followers. It is not needing any followers to feel complete and whole. Reclaim your time, reclaim your mind, and reclaim the profound joy of living a life that is truly yours. Step behind the digital curtain and discover the profound beauty of a life lived without the need for display. Reclaim the right to be private, to be mysterious, and to be simply human in this always connected modern age. Respect the quiet power of Gen X, for they are the true anchors of our increasingly chaotic and fast-paced society. In the silence of Gen X, there is a profound depth of understanding about what it truly means to be human. Sarcastic on the outside, but intensely loyal on the inside, Gen X is the emotional glue holding our fractured society. Childhood silence was their training ground for modern mindfulness, a space where they learned to observe without being consumed. Sarcasm was their shield, and independence was their sword, weapons forged in the quiet fire of their empty childhood homes. True identity is what you do when no one is watching, a lesson Gen X learned very early in life. The invisible generation reminds us that true strength often makes no sound and requires no external audience to exist. In the modern frantic world that always demands attention, find peace in your beautiful, mask-free, and unstoppable soul. Until next time, find peace in the quiet, find joy in being missing, and find yourself in the beautiful silence. Gen X has mastered the art of being invisible, while simultaneously being completely indispensable to their families and workplaces today. If you found peace in this message, please subscribe and join our quiet journey toward a whole life today. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for celebrating the quiet, unstoppable power of the Latchkey generation today.